Hi and welcome to Cheekyricho Cooking's mushroom stroganoff pastryless pies cooked in Sunbeam Pie Magic 4. You can use any pie maker that you have. This is a great simple budget friendly recipe, great for a brunch or just a nice breakfast for two. The first thing we're going to do is turn on our induction hot plate on a medium heat, melt our butter, add our salad onions or Spanish onions, red onions, and we just want to get just the rawness off those. We're going to give it some freshly ground pepper, mushrooms and pepper, great combination. Some vegetable salt that will draw the moisture out of the onions and help them to caramelize a little bit. Now that looks like a lot of butter. The mushrooms, we've only got 3 button mushrooms here. They've just been wiped and sliced quite thinly. You could use smaller mushrooms if you like. You'd use big field mushrooms, but you're going to have to make them small enough in pieces that you'll be able to spoon the filling into your cases later. And the mushrooms aren't going to really cook any more inside the cases, so you've really got to make your filling first. I'm not using sour cream, which is a traditional cream to use in your mushroom stroganoff, because it will separate once it's heated again in the pie maker. So once they've gone a little bit translucent, we send in our mushrooms and just toss them all around. Get a little bit of colour on those too. Now just while they're cooking, we're going to cut the crusts off our bread. You can use those in a different recipe, maybe for croutons for a salad, or perhaps some breadcrumbs. So don't discard those unless you have absolutely no use for them. Just make this recipe very, very easy to roll out, which is what we're going to do next. We've got just the cheapest white bread that you can get. This is just going to be the vehicle to hold our filling. There's a nice colour coming on that now, as you can see. Turn it down a fraction while we prepare our bread. Okay, now we're going to add our cream and let that reduce right down. Now all that's doing is evaporating the moisture out of the cream and intensifying the flavour. Now we've just got our bread with the crust cut off, rolling pin, and we're just going to roll this completely flat. The fresher the bread, the better off you are. Squash all of the air out of it. Sorry, baker. Until you've got something that resembles a little envelope. And we're going to be putting these into our pie maker, brushed with melted butter, and filling with our filling. This slice has got a hole in the middle of it, which isn't going to be much help, but it doesn't matter because we're only making enough for a batch of 4. Okay, now I've got a crust here. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go, but I'll give it a run anyway. And I will just cut the edges off that to neaten it up. Alrighty, there's our bread ready to go into our pie maker. Now our sauce is thickened up significantly and reduced right down. We're adding our spring onions and turning that off. Put that out into a bowl while we prepare our pie maker. Okay, that's what you should have. Okay, while our mushroom stroganoff is cooling, we have popped a slab of bacon into our pan just to brown that off. We are going to be adding our lemon juice to the Vitamix with a whole orange, a whole apple and some ice, and we're going to blitz that into a really healthy, fresh, icy cold morning juice. You can throw a handful of spinach in that if you like, but we're just keeping it fairly simple, and that'll only take 50 seconds to blitz and that will be ready. Our bacon is nearly ready. Okay, our other bacon chop is done. We are just going to throw in to our pan in that bacon fat just a handful of spinach to wilt down. That is not going to take very long at all. That's why we didn't put it in our smoothie boat. And just while that's doing its thing, we've just put some cherry tomatoes that Richo grew for me, and we're just going to put those in there, and the heat of the pan will just warm them through. I don't really want them to burst open. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. Put that to one side. Put our plate on there, and that will keep it warm while we cook our pie maker mushroom stroganoff tarts. So we have some melted butter here. These aren't going to rise. You don't have to worry too much about the top of this pan at this stage because they'll sink down more than anything. Brush them with a bit of melted butter, and we're going to press those into our pie hole. Line them up in like a grid pattern. When they're pushed in, they won't overlap each other too badly. Okay, now we just push that in best you can. I'm just going to break that off there and push that over that hole. In, like so. Little bread parcels. I'm not going to be serving this breakfast with any toast because bread's already here. Okay, now push our filling into the center there. Little sprinkle of cheese on the top. That's just going to melt. It's not going to really do anything else. And give it some nice flavor. And then we're going to close the lid and turn it on. There's our Vitamix loaded. We just press the smoothie button and okay, so you can't get out to your favorite cafe. Do it at home, like the olden days. No added sugar, just fruit and ice. Got our coffee ready to go. Okay, and now our little mushroom stroganoff tarts are nice and crispy on the bottom. Very, very hot. And there you have it, Cheekyricho's cafe breakfast at home. Hope you enjoyed this little cooking demonstration. If you'd like to see more interesting recipes and ideas, just check out our Cheekyricho cooking channel. And don't forget to please subscribe. And do come back and visit us again soon. We've got so much more to show you and we're uploading lots of videos. And thank you very much for watching. Alright, just close the lid just for a couple of minutes and you're going to have a perfectly poached egg. Okay, I told you it was quick. Minute or so. And there you have it. Doesn't that look delicious? Cut this in half and I'll show you what it looks like inside. Nice and crispy and brown on the bottom, full of creamy, mushroomy goodness. Crispy, creamy, you can taste the spring onions. Put some parsley in it, some thyme perhaps. Nothing too savage like basil or coriander, but this is gorgeous. Thanks for watching.